do get, the more rules are gonna try to get you to follow. You just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Back at it again with a Wildlife podcast. I'm joined with Jack and Spencer as our co-hosts, and today we have guest Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, thank
you.
Give
it up.
Let's get it.
Thank you.
All right, Hayden, what's been going on?
Dude, nothing much, man. Just trying to, finish a semester off strong. Other than that, just trying to get ready for the summer, man. Got some big traveling things planned.
Let's go. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Where are you going this summer?
Yeah, dude. So right after this semester ends, gonna go spend a couple days in Greece, and then later
Just
on,
casual Greece visit.
Yeah, just the usual.
Yeah.
Just a few days in Greece, and we're gonna walk down.
What does everyone want to go to Greece for, to visit? What are the London has Big Ben.
Mm.
What's the things in Greece that everyone wants to go see?
Dude, for me, it's gotta be the ancient Greece architecture stuff.
Yeah. I feel like that's pretty popular.
Yeah. Huh.
What is there what's it called? Oh no, we're doing this again. It's pillars. It has big pillars.
Yeah.
We got Harley over here. What is it?
Isn't it the Parthenon?
I think you're right. The Parthenon.
Have you heard of that?
Parthenon.
Sure, yeah.
There's a life-size one in
100 points.
Yeah, we have a live audience for this recording.
So
We're joined with Harley Hannon. Shout out Harley.
Yeah, our current watcher. So when you travel,
Yeah.
for y'all that don't know, Hayden does quite a bit of traveling. So when you do travel, you use someone to schedule through, right?
So, yes and no. There's some where I have, and there's some that I haven't.
And you travel all by yourself.
Yes, I do travel all by myself. The one in Greece is going to be a family trip. That's not usually a place that I would travel to by myself.
Okay.
I have this thing to where I've told myself that I'm going to travel to 2 places every year before I settle down, get married, have kids. I just want to see the world before I have to, have some heavy responsibilities. So, and a lot of places I travel to aren't your regular tourist destinations. I've been to Croatia, Montenegro, Bosnia, Serbia, Hungary, and
Dang.
yeah, I recently just got back from Egypt this past winter break too.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
What goes into choosing some of those places, and what are your thoughts behind maybe some of the most non-conventional ones?
Yeah.
Thinking about picking a spot.
Yeah, so I think I've always wanted to go to Europe, but I've never wanted to go to the typical places, Italy, Paris, England. Never really.
Because everybody goes there.
Yeah, everybody goes there, and it's
Facts.
I'd rather go see something that I don't see on any of my feeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Eastern Europe is very pretty. It's called the Balkans area. And so last summer, I spent about 15 days, a little over 2 weeks, just touring, starting in Croatia, going to Montenegro, up to Serbia and Bosnia, and finishing in Budapest.
That's sick.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I really wanted to put myself out there more and go to some places that are a little bit dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially Egypt. I'll tell you.
Really?
We had to, when we got there, I had gotten there, stayed at this hotel, and usually what happens is when you go to these places that aren't really the safest to travel alone, you end up meeting all these tourists from all over the place. And so usually just naturally just group together as a tribe in a sense.
Yeah.
And so when I got there, I was at the hotel and I was at the restaurant just having dinner, and there was these people sitting next to me, and they had asked if I would like to join them and have dinner with them, and they're Australian and they were tourists as well. So I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, why not? So we started talking. We met some other people, and in Egypt, we had to go to the local police station, what we consider a police station, and ask for a bodyguard. And so we'd have to pay for a bodyguard to be with us.
And
each
you're like,
day.
I want to go there.
Yeah, literally. This guy was so cool though. He wore a suit every single day that he was with us.
That's kind of sick.
And he had a semi-automatic tucked between his shirt and his blazer.
What?
Really?
How do you even fit that? Like,
It always poked out the
You
side.
just do.
So you just like go to the police station and you're like, hey, I need a bodyguard for like.
Yeah.
is that a
20
common
days.
thing?
It's a very common thing, and it's like they're like off-duty police officers, or they're like retired or detectives or policemen that are just trying to make an extra buck.
Is that expensive?
Well, in our U.S. dollars, not. So like, one of our dollars equals 24 Egyptian pounds. 24.25. So, and I think I spent like if to take away air travel and staying in hotels and stuff, I probably spent $100 U.S. dollars on just like food and souvenirs and everything, because you just go to the markets, to the streets, and just buy stuff off people.
That's
so air
sick.
travel is like by far the most expensive parts of these trips.
Air travel is by far the most expensive. I've been lucky enough to learn some tips. I'll share that real quick.
Mhm.
If you want to travel anywhere outside the United States, always book your flights through a European airline like Lufthansa or Ryanair. They're so much cheaper plane travel in there because they mainly do train.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really get a lot of their air traffic. So that's
Are
why
they pretty selective with like the airports they fly out of, or?
Yeah, so you have two major hubs in Europe, and so you've got, London Heathrow is a big hub, Barcelona or Madrid, one of those two is a big hub, and then usually Abu Dhabi is another huge hub, and that's way east. That's almost Middle Eastern.
That's a cool place. I've always wanted to go to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I've heard that's sick up there.
Have you been there?
Isn't it like super modern as well?
Yeah, so I haven't been there, but I've heard of a lot of the people that I travel with, like I've met that are tourists. A lot of them I've met are actually Australian, and so they fly into Abu Dhabi to fly to any place in Europe or to Africa, and so they were talking about that Abu Dhabi is actually very, like, there's a lot of oil money there, and so everything is super like is super super expensive and also just extremely nice.
Yeah.
But it's like in the desert, so like
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
really make sense most of the time.
I've heard like the police cars are like Lamborghinis, and like super
I've seen
like
that
super
on,
cars.
Instagram. I don't know how true that is, but
I've heard it's pretty true.
That would be sick though.
okay.
Anyway, but so when y'all were in Egypt,
Yeah.
why did y'all get a bodyguard? Like, was there did something happen, or is that just like a known thing you're supposed to do?
That's just a known thing. That's what a lot of people usually end up doing, and we were in a big enough group to where we could split it and not be that much money. Egypt is not really the safest place to go at the moment. We had to stay in a lot of tourist like areas and stuff, but the Egyptian people are super nice. They're amazing hosts. I met this one guy. His name was Sharif. We met him on the Nile, and he had this sailboat that he had. Him and like 3 of his sons. And so what's really cool is, like, I guess this is not really cool, but it's interesting that in Egypt they love Bob Marley.
Really?
Absolutely love the guy to death. Like, it's super strange. Like, they've got posters of him everywhere. They just love his philosophy on life of just
That's
enjoying
cool.
life and just chilling out. And
Yeah.
so he took us on this little like sailboat, and we docked on the other side to where all the sand dunes were, and he took us up these sand dunes and stuff. Honestly, it was like pretty sketchy. I'm like, is he gonna take us out here and like mug us or whatever?
Yeah.
But he was super nice. He told us all to lay down, so we just all laid down in this huge circle in the sand dunes and just soaked in the sun and just chilled. Very much Bob Marley life.
Playing some Bob Marley in
Yeah.
the background.
Yeah, just chilling.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's sick though.
Wow. So what was it like going to the pyramids?
The pyramids were insane. I think, we had those conspiracy theories that the aliens built the pyramids.
Yeah.
And I actually went to the pyramids in person, and I can confirm that the aliens did build pyramids.
Oh, really?
There's no way human, like, it's not even possible to do that.
Because those blocks are huge, right?
The blocks went up to my shoulders.
Holy
that
cow.
was how big.
How long did they say they built them in?
They told me and I probably forgot.
Harley, let's get a Google on that.
They would literally let us climb
I'm
on
Googling it
top
now.
of the pyramid. Like we could climb on it.
Really?
And I have pictures of the side, like me hanging on the side of it. Like they just didn't care. Like I was surprised when I went to Egypt that you could touch and climb on like anything.
Really?
Like you could touch all the hieroglyphs with your hands.
You would
could
think they would
go-
have like a rope around it, being like,
yeah, you'd think so. I mean, they had like armed guards like patrolling areas, but
Mm-hmm.
they mainly just asked if you wanted your picture taken. I mean, to be
Yeah.
honest, it wasn't like
Yeah. Could
Says
you go in?
here between 15 to 30 years, and over 100,000 men worked on the pyramids.
That's
I don't
insane.
know. You
That
think
is
they could build
crazy.
those in 30 years?
no.
Over 100,000 aliens.
Yeah.
Maybe the numbers are off. Maybe it wasn't 30 years. Who
Well,
knows?
Someone
Well, that's
did
what
it.
the internet says, but did you go in?
Yeah. So there was one of the pyramids that we go to tomb, and you go down this little hole that's like super. Okay, so like the tomb, like the pathway to get to it was probably 4 feet tall. So that's another reason why aliens built the place is because they're like
Little short
4'3"
things,
guys.
yeah.
So no human being could comfortably make that trek, but we did it, and it was tough. But we got down there and like we just hunched over the whole time, and
Is that not claustrophobic?
oh, dude, very, because it's one way in, one way out. So like we're trying to pass people.
Are
Yeah.
you
Is there a lot of people
serious?
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot
I
of
would be
tourists.
freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't handle that.
Yeah, I was about to say.
No.
Of all
I
people.
don't think you could
So
go
you're just
down
like
there.
you're like crouched, kind of like that, and
Yeah.
you're just walking and then trying to get past.
Mason would be the type of guy to go all the way out there and then stand on the outside when everyone was going in. Just like, nah, I'm good, guys. Yeah.
Someone's
I'll
gotta stay
watch.
with the bodyguard.
Take
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah. Huh.
That's hilarious.
That's cool. So what's inside?
It was just an open chamber.
Oh.
It wasn't worth the trek, to be honest.
Well,
but I
no.
could say that I was inside the pyramid. So
Yeah,
That's-
Noted.
Yeah, a lot of people can't say that. Around
Noted.
here, especially.
Noted.
Okay, so I'm going Scotland next semester.
Yep.
Studying abroad. Have you ever been anywhere like the UK, Ireland?
So I've spent time in London because I've had a lot of layovers at London Heathrow. So I would take the underground train and
Okay.
go and spend some time like at a pub or at a really
Coffee shop or
coffee
something?
shop, a park, while I waited on my layover. I've never been outside of London itself. The only thing that I could tell you about Scotland was that movie with gosh, I just went blank. What's the movie?
There's
Let's
a lot.
get to Google on that, Harley.
Yep.
There's a lot of Google.
The Harry Potter one? Because I like.
no,
we're-
the real one. Real life. Gosh, it's gonna bug me. William Wallace.
I haven't seen
Never
it.
seen that movie?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Well, if I have, I didn't know. Huh.
William Wallace.
No,
Yeah.
but like where I'm studying, it's like a big attraction for
Mhm.
Harry Potter fans or whatever.
Interesting.
So like the guy who wrote the books wrote them in this one place.
Braveheart. That's what it's.
Yeah.
Oh,
Braveheart,
okay,
yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
William Wallace.
Yeah.
Thanks for the Google, Harley.
No. Anyways, so yeah, there's this little like Harry Potter looking stuff, and there's like a bunch of Harry Potter pubs and
Yeah.
that train they go on to.
Yeah.
It's like
It's like
15
real life
minutes
one.
From, yeah, so
That's cool.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've just been doing research. on
I've
it.
seen pictures of Scotland. It looks really pretty.
Yeah.
I really want to go over there sometime. But you might have to add that to your list, Hayden.
I will. Yeah, absolutely.
So where's your favorite place you've ever traveled?
That's a tough question. I really enjoyed Croatia a lot. Croatia, we stayed in Dubrovnik, which is where they shot Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's
Mm.
sick.
So like the Red Keep is Dubrovnik. Like they shot it in the streets. Like we could go on. We hired a tour guide for the morning, and she took us around to all the spots and pointed out to where, like King's Landing, she pointed that out to us. The sewers that they would like go in and out of from the King's Landing up to the Red Keep. Super cool. Beautiful. Red roof buildings. Super cool. Great food too. A lot of good seafood. Ate a lot of squid and fish.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you like squid?
It's okay. Prepared right is good, but when I had it there, it was very
Because
good.
it's not a lot of fried stuff. It's
No.
not like calamari or whatever. It's
Do y'all like squid?
straight. I like calamari.
I don't know if I've ever had it.
Hmm.
Surely
But,
I've had calamari.
like the
but I don't
straight
know.
tentacles and the.
I probably couldn't do that. I could
It's-
barely manage to get down a what is it? An oyster? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the texture.
Sea boogers.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
think this probably one of the places that I was like, why did I even come? Because I was like pretty like scared, to be honest with you, was trying to get into Bosnia. It was probably the scariest experience I've ever had. So we were leaving Montenegro.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed in Modar, and that is like the Miami of Montenegro. Like,
Okay.
very much the same vibes. Anyways, we were leaving to go into Bosnia. And I don't know whose idea it was. We got I had met some people from Mexico, and I met some people from the UK, and we were all going to go to Bosnia, to the capital. And so we got on this charter bus, and we get to the border. So in Europe, you cross a lot of borders, get into different countries, so you have to go and like show them your passport and go through border patrol. So like Bosnia is a very poor country, and so the people at Bosnia, the border patrol guards at Bosnia, they get a monthly paycheck of whatever whatever ends up being in Bosnian coin equals $1 American. So each month they get $1 American worth of money.
That's crazy.
So they're very corrupt, and they love to be bribed because they don't make a lot of money. And so our guy who was driving the bus, we stopped at a gas station before we got to the border. He was like, "Hey guys, recommend buying either a 6-pack Coca-Cola, pack of cigarettes, or some sort of domestic beer." And so I was like, this is strange. Why do we need to do this? He's like, dude, just trust me. And so I went and bought like a 6-pack of Coca-Cola. And so got back in the charter bus. So then we go to the border. And he was like, all right, guys, bring your stuff, bring your passport, bring whatever you got at the store, and come with me. And so we all get in this line and go inside this like rundown building that doesn't have any AC or anything, and there's just border patrol guards in there like sitting in like these chairs with their feet propped up, smoking cigs, just like
Straight off the movies.
Big
yeah,
chilling.
literally just big chilling the whole time. And so we come up, and this guy like he looks like he was extremely bothered that we showed up to get our passports checked, because he stood up and was like grunting a little bit and like looked like he didn't want to be here, and came over and looked at all of us, looked at somebody's paperwork, and was like, you guys got massive problem, you'd be here hours. And the bus driver's like, okay, this is when you give him your Coke. And so we all like got out our packet of cigs and our Coca-Cola and our beer, and we gave it to the guys, because like Coca-Cola over there is like a rich man's drink.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
And so we bribed them with Coca-Cola and cigs in order for them to stamp our passport. So I gave him my Coca-Cola. He stamped my passport, didn't look at it. Got back in the van, got out of the bus, and we went. We were probably in and
It's
out
like,
there
all
in,
right,
like,
guys, bring the stuff in.
10, 15
And
minutes.
Roll it in.
that's probably routine for them. Like they probably
Yeah.
do that on purpose so that you will bribe
Oh,
them.
for sure.
They do that with tourists all the time. Like, I'm sure that, your regular guys who drive the semis in and out of the countries, they don't really bother those guys that much, but
They know y'all will do it.
it was crazy. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, that is kind of sketch.
That's
Poor
cool.
guy's like, bring in the Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Just rolling all these Coke cans and beer and cigs.
Did you run into any trouble in Bosnia?
So, we ran into a lot of pickpockets in Bosnia. And so the guy was like telling us how we can discern between pickpockets or not. As there's usually people of darker complexion who look like they're tourists. So they're usually wearing a backpack, plus they always have a hat on, like a bucket hat or just a ball cap.
Is that just to like cover their face or something?
Yes.
Recording or whatever?
Yes, to cover their face, and they also think that makes them look like more like a tourist. So like when they bump into you and like take something out of your pocket, like they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and they usually try to speak English too. We saw it happen. I saw it happen. Me and some friends, we saw it happen right in front of our eyes of this lady who did it, and she had like no shame, and she just walked off and we're like, "Excuse me, like this lady just took all your money, like your purse." And it was
Wait,
just
her
like,
purse?
Yeah. Oh no, her wallet. So it was hanging out, and it was like, it was real. Like we had to like be careful of like how we kept our money and stuff. Had always put it in a pocket with a zipper, or else you probably would get it stolen. Yeah.
Did you have a lot of people? Did you have a lot of people bumping into you?
No, I try to keep my distance a lot. But. To say that, though, the Bosnian people were also very nice, very hospitable. We stayed at this hotel. It was in the middle of Sarajevo, and it was called Hotel Hollywood, is what it was called, and it was like an American themed hotel, and so like going into this place, like you could definitely tell like how they're trying to like their version of like Americanizing this place, and so. It was so strange. On the third floor, they had a full soccer like turf field.
What?
On the third floor, and it was like me and my buddies, because they were from Mexico, so they loved to play soccer, and they're like, "You should come play with us." So I went down there with them, and it was there. We got down there pretty late at night. It was probably like 10 or 11, and we were playing, just like shooting the ball around or whatever, and like. The hotel staff walk in, and like kitchen staff in their aprons and stuff, and they ask if they want to play with us. We're like, yeah, sure. So we spend like an hour, 2 hours, just playing with the hotel staff of this Americanized hotel. Like it was insane. It was so much fun though.
I bet that was a blast. That's sick. So I'm sure your money goes a long ways there too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you have any other cool stories in other countries? Like I know you were talking about you're a woman. You had was it dinner with a woman?
Yeah. So the
Dinner with
sounds
a woman.
very.
Well, okay, yeah, that sounds.
No, you're good.
No.
So I was in Bosnia, and so the Bosnians just got out of like a war like 5 or 6 years ago with Serbia. So Serbia wanted to take over Bosnia, and so the Serbians would come in with their army. Bosnia didn't have an army at the time, and so they would literally force. They would kill all the men that they found in Bosnia, and they would force all the women and children to the capital city of Sarajevo, and so all the women and children had to leave to Sarajevo. Leave there to just to relocate, and they were pulled away from all their farmland and their families, and the men either had to run away and go hide and like form like this little Bosnian army, or they get killed by the Serbians trying to come in. And so Sarajevo is in the middle of this valley that's surrounded by mountains, and so the Serbians would go in the mountains with sniper rifles and literally shoot at anybody who walked outside. Like, it was insane. And so, Is
this a pretty small town?
No, it's like the capital city, but it's surrounded by these gigantic mountains. And so...
So if anyone left...
Yeah, so they would do it just to entice fear, instill fear in everybody down there, too. It was crazy. Anyways, this lady we met down there, and she was telling us she lives with her mother, she's the only one that speaks English. She lives with her mother, and she has a sister as well, and this lady is probably in her 30s or 40s. Anyway, she invites us to her house for like a home-cooked meal. And so we go to this lady's house, and I tell you what, she takes us to her apartment complex. and it literally looks like something out of a scary movie. Like, it's dark, it's really run down, like, it doesn't look safe or anything like that. And so she takes us up the stairs to her apartment. We go inside, she locks the door, she has us sit around this table, and, like, I'm like, why did we say yes to this? Like, what are we doing here?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah. And so she starts talking to us. Like, we asked her about her life, and she was telling us the story of the Bosnian-Serbian War. And she and her family were pretty wealthy. She had her dad, and she had like 3 or 4 brothers, and her and her sister all lived on this farm. And so when the Serbians came, they kicked them all out. And she said that her dad and her 3 brothers had to run and hide. And she says she hasn't even seen them since. She thinks that they're dead, which is
How long
pretty
ago
sad.
was it?
The war ended about 5 or 6 years ago, and it went on for a while. So it's just pretty fresh. I think about 10, 15 years. And so she's in this carnival place. She's telling us all this stuff, and she's making us these home-cooked meals and everything. And it was just really cool to hear her story. Very sad, too, that she hasn't heard from her brothers or father, and they don't have any closure. They don't know what's happened to them. They're just assuming that they're dead somewhere. So, but the people of that town are very sweet. And if you walk around Cernavejo, what they did is they took red paint and they painted all of the bullet marks that when the snipers would shoot, it would ping off buildings and sidewalks and stuff. It'd leave, I don't know what you'd call it, but leave like little craters in the ground and stuff from like rocks getting chipped off. And they would paint them red. And they would call them the Cernavejo roses, just to turn something ugly into something beautiful.
That's
That's cool.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
I feel
That is
like that is insane. I feel like that would just be honestly super sad, but also like it'd be kind of cool to just see all that red everywhere.
Yeah, it was.
Was it still there when you were there?
Yeah,
All the paint?
yeah, they keep it up. But it's super cool. I think one of the best takeaways that I've realized for myself by doing all these trips to places that people usually don't visit is the culture. The culture is fantastic, and I love getting to learn other people's culture and just to see the way they live. Like, it's insane how much we take for granted here in the States. Like, what we consider hardships over there, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I bet some of those trips that you went on that at first you might have like been like, why did I come here? They end up being some of the best trips.
Oh, 100%.
Like I feel like that's pretty like some of the stuff that you go through that's hard, it almost makes it the most memorable. But wow.
My recommendation for anybody who decides to travel, whether it be here in the States or especially overseas, is to get uncomfortable. I would have not have learned the things that I've learned today. I would not have experienced the culture or enjoyed random people's company if I hadn't been uncomfortable and did the hard things of putting myself out there.
I bet that's made you like more appreciative too.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I've got some trips lined up. I'm going to Paraguay for about a week and a half over there. I'm super excited for that. It's going to be such a different culture over there, just being in a poor state in South America. And then over next winter break, I'm headed to South Africa. And
That'd be sick.
yeah.
Is that
it's
pretty
tour.
dangerous?
South Africa is pretty dangerous, yeah. But
That's one of the
I'm
more like
excited.
civilized areas of Africa, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, that in Egypt
Okay.
is. When I was in Egypt, it's in Africa, but I would consider it more Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
But it was crazy.
Has there been a place you've been that you thought like I could live here, or is it more of like I'm just here kind of examining the culture type thing?
No, that's a good question. I think if I was to live in a place, I would either live in Budapest or Dubrovnik, Croatia.
Okay.
Budapest was beautiful. Beautiful river that runs through it. A lot of old culture. They have, when we were there, we went to this bathhouse. They're known for their bathhouses over there. This bathhouse we went to, It's a bunch of Hungarian men in this bathhouse.
Can you explain what a bathhouse is?
So tell by the looks.
I was trying to think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a bathhouse is this massive, like, we call it natural springs over here.
Okay.
So it's these natural spring fed like pools all over the place.
Okay.
They range in different temperatures, and they have different liquids too. There's this one
Different
bath.
liquids?
Yes.
So you can bathe in something other than water?
Yes, we bathed.
What did you bathe in?
Yeah.
What did you bathe
tell
in?
us.
Goat's milk.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Beer, actually.
Really?
Yes. What,
Are you actually
fermented,
serious?
Yeah.
Dude, let's
It's
go
not
to
like-
Budapest.
Does it smell like beer?
Oh yeah, it was
just
fermented.
Hot beer?
Yes.
You could drink it too.
No. You didn't want to drink it because think of all the
He's
man
just
that's
face
inside
deep.
of it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
dives in.
it's crazy.
Warm beer.
Wow.
It is crazy.
So it was just beer that you bathed in.
Oh well, I bathed in water as well in different pools.
How,
and
is this
stuff.
natural?
The
Natural
beer is not
or
natural.
How do they get that in there?
It's just
That's
it's
a
just
lot of
fermented.
beer.
Is the beer natural?
Well, I'm just wondering. They said natural
Earth
springs.
makes
Are people just
beer.
freaking pouring,
Yeah, they just.
dump it in some
Yeah.
Bush Light at a freaking tub or what? How's that work?
I don't know the science behind, but it's whatever you ferment to make beer. It's that without all the flavor.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is there mud
So they're
baths?
just dumping stuff in hot water and making
Yeah,
beer.
probably pretty much. Yeah,
Okay.
probably corn, this
Hmm.
kernels.
What about mud baths? Is that a thing?
I think it's a thing,
But
I
not
don't
there.
know if it was there though. That's good though.
Just beer.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
just
beer.
beer and water. That's pretty much it.
Beer and water.
So what's the story on the bathhouse? Now that we know what it is.
Oh, dude, just thoroughly enjoyed myself there. Like, it
Oh.
was just a blast.
I mean, shoot, I would too.
There wasn't anything
Sounds
other
like
than just.
Just chilling in some warm beer.
Yeah, I could live there and just go to the bathhouse every day. And just
Yeah.
chill. I mean, it was
Just go from beer
Yeah.
one day, water the other.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
A little detox.
Yeah, the beer pool is only for the weekends.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, so
Wow.
going back, I know you talked a little bit about just being uncomfortable in those
Yeah.
scenarios and how much you grew from those. And that's something that like I'm also looking forward to is like
Yeah.
finding a lot more about myself. What are a few things that you found out about yourself from going to all these different places?
Yeah, that's good. I think one of the main things that I realize of myself is that there are times when I don't realize it that I'm super prideful and just super prideful in the things that I have and in the experiences that I get to go on. Because I go to these places, I've never been to a place that isn't that isn't roughly the same financially as the United States. Like they've all been pretty poor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so going to these places have definitely humbled me a lot. I've gotten to experience some pretty cool things, and those things have definitely made me change my perspective on the way that I live life here. Made me realize that, you know, I take things for granted. I do. I really do. I think that's just the sinful part of myself. And that it's just amazing to go over there and see how the people live and what they live off of. Like it's
And
just
how happy they
cool.
are.
Oh, they're
You
so
know?
happy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. After traveling all these places, I can for sure tell you that we are probably one of the least happiest countries in the world. Like I 100% agree with that. I mean, all these places, they're super happy with nothing. Like in Egypt, the Bob Marley life, man. They're just super thankful for the water in the Nile.
They're happy to be
Yeah.
alive.
Oh, 100%.
Wow. That's
Do you
crazy.
think it's like social media here and like all this technology we have here? It's like
I think about that so often. Like, what makes us so different in the way where our smaller problems seem like such big
Yeah.
problems compared to other places?
Comparison's the thief of joy.
Yeah. I think it's the way that we put value on things. Over there, they definitely value work above all else, family above all else, because ultimately what they have is their family.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in Egypt, we were walking the markets and we met this guy who told us that he was the mayor of this village across the river, and so he was like he was the lawyer and the mayor. And we asked him how he got to become the mayor. And he said, it's because I have an education and I speak English. He's like,
Wow.
nobody else in my village has that. So we walk over to there. And so we walk into this village, and these little kids absolutely go nuts when they see white people. Like, it's crazy. They, like, tug on your, like, shorts, and they tug on your pockets and your arms. They, like, want to see if you have any gifts or anything like that. And, like, this mayor is like, get off them, like, hits them with sticks and stuff to get little kids away from us because they're, like, little, like, cats. I mean, it's hilarious. But they are just, like, also over there they have so much curiosity about everything.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that we lack as a society is curiosity. But anyways, so we get over there, and we're walking this village, and it's interesting, too, like, when you walk, like when you live out here in the country, you know, you have everybody has their cows and their horses and stuff. Over there, they have camels and baby camels. Like I passed 3 or 4 houses that had a corral of baby camels.
That would
they
be
showed.
so cool. Yeah.
Dude, it was like surreal. It was like, this is amazing. That and goats. And so this guy invites us to his house. He cooks us bread, tahini, and he cooks us this like snack, and it's a bunch of bread, tahini, and then he gives us as dessert sugarcane to chew on and tea. And so we sit down there and we just talk to this guy, and he's just so warm. Like, he introduces us to all of his family and told us how they live, and they don't live in the best of conditions compared to our standards.
Yeah.
To their standards, it is, but to our standards, it's not. Like, they don't have their floor is dirt, compacted dirt. They don't have mattresses. It's literally woven like plant as like the bedding, and they
No AC.
no gas.
Oh, it's gonna be brutal.
Yeah.
Everything's cooked in this like mud oven that they handmade. Like, it's just insane. And they're super thankful and grateful. Like,
Yeah.
it's insane. And I'm like,
What's the restroom situation like?
bucket.
Yeah, Mason's on bucket duty Monday. You got Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just this village, and it's crazy.
Wow.
What if, guys, hear me out. Let's pack everything up.
Move to Disney.
No. No. We're going.
This is where, but Disney is where this conversation typically goes.
Yeah,
though.
that is true. I'm a big Disney guy. But we're going to that village, and we're going to go live with the camels.
Just to do it.
Yeah. Mason,
He
we're going to
wouldn't
buy
do it.
some robes.
Mason wouldn't do it.
No, he wouldn't do it. We're going to buy a few robes. Do they wear robes there too?
Yeah, they wear. I should have brought it with me. I
You should have worn that.
You do have that.
I do.
I was gonna
a
tell you to
turban.
show up in your robe.
So
to
when
the
I
pod.
was
Is it called a robe? There's got to be a better name.
No, it's not called a robe. I don't.
Let's get
I
it
totally
correct.
forgot what it's called. But
Let's
That's
not
slang.
get canceled.
Yeah.
We only have 40 subscribers, so we can't get canceled yet.
Yeah.
Oh man, I have this handmade T-shirt that I bought. It's pretty cool. It's very colorful and gold and ornate, and also the turban as well.
Oh yeah.
It's made out of Egyptian cotton, which is totally different than our cotton. Like, it's a lot more soft, higher thread count, silkier,
kinda.
breathable. It's awesome.
That's cool.
Wow.
I should have worn that today. I should.
Yeah.
Totally
That would have
forgot,
been
but-
sick. Huh. So, out of all the places, you said Croatia was your favorite, right?
I would say Croatia was definitely the prettiest place I've ever been to. I'd say, but though rich in culture, has got to be Egypt.
Wow. Wow. Crazy stuff.
So what was the coolest thing you saw in Egypt? I bet the
Yeah.
Nile was sick.
The Nile was cool because what we ended up doing is we started in Cairo, and Cairo is nasty. It smells like, it smells really horrid. Like, it really does. The water is just brown everywhere. So, but the only thing that's in Cairo is Giza's right next to Cairo, so that's where the pyramids are. So we stayed at a night hotel, went to the pyramids, rode a camel, which was a super interesting experience.
I bet that was awesome.
How far?
We rode there was a camel station, and I don't think we rode too far. I bet it was probably 2 or 3 miles. But I grew up riding horses. My parents had a ranch, and so I was like, I'm gonna ride this camel. Like it's good. I got this.
Yeah.
No,
How much
it
different
is-
could it be?
It's
oh
a
my
hump
gosh.
here and a hump here. Are you in between?
No, these are one humpers.
One humpers.
So
Holly
I'm
put that
sitting
on a
the
t-shirt.
hump.
Yeah. No way.
Yes, it's like, but they sit on the saddle, and the saddle is made out of wood and covered by carpet. It's interesting, but the camels are probably twice as high as a horse. Like you're way higher, and the way they walk is so different.
You said you sit on the hump?
Yeah, you sit on the hump.
Wow.
If
It's
we ever
crazy.
make merch, we need shirts that say one humper.
It was a one humper.
Wow.
Oh man! But we took an overnight train. That was sketchy. Oh, it was interesting. It was raining too, which it's weird. That was the second time it had rained all year, and little kids didn't know what to do when it started raining at the train
And
station.
you were there.
I was there.
Damn.
They were going wild because they were like, we never get rain, and it like scared some of the little kids. They're
Really?
like, they've never seen it before.
Huh.
And it's just
Oh my
insane.
gosh.
And so we get on this train, and the rain, like, it's not clean water. It's dirty water because we got pelted with it, and when we drove, like when you dried off, you could see dirt all over your skin from the rain.
Wow.
And so we get on this overnight train, that's pretty sketchy, falling apart. We get all the way down south. We get 30 minutes from the Sudan border. And then we get on like this Nile, we get on this like little riverboat that's like 2 stories, and it's got some rooms on it and like a pool on the top. And we just chill on it for the next 4 days as it takes us back up the Nile back to Luxor. And we just chill there, and that was an experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Dude, I'd be scared just like knowing where I'm at. I'm like, does Google or Apple Maps even work over there? Or-
Yeah. Did you have service or no?
So I didn't have any service other than the Wi-Fi we got, like whenever we could find it, basically.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So everything's like word of mouth, kind of like, hey, where do I go for here?
Yeah, literally, it's we basically what we did is we just asked our bodyguard.
Oh,
Like,
that's
where
smart.
we
I
should
forgot
go.
he's still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there the whole time. He just
clutch.
quiet. sitting
Did
there
he ever
watching.
like test out his weapon? You know, just to.
He did get, he had a couple drinks, and we had asked if we could see it. And he like unstrapped it, but he like held on to it, and he showed us. But it was like something out of like, it was like had to be 30, 40 years old. I'm like, I don't know if I would feel confident if we got into like a shooting match
gonna
with some
work.
other people
Yeah.
that it would work. So.
Was there ever a situation where like you needed that bodyguard, or was it just kind of like in case something happened?
I did not feel like we needed to use him ever.
Really?
Like, I
It's
think
probably
it
because he was
just-
there too.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, so true. I don't know what it would have been like if he
Yeah.
wasn't there, but because he was there, I mean, you can tell. I mean, the bodyguards are the only guys that are wearing a 2-piece suit
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of.
That's really cool,
Egypt.
though. It kind of like
That's sick.
makes you look like, like
like
no one's gonna get y'all, you know?
Yeah.
nobody's gonna get you.
Where would you?
Or
So if
safe
y'all
there.
could travel anywhere that you haven't already traveled, where would you go?
Yeah. What's the bucket list spot?
My number one,
Florida,
no,
Disneyland.
Thailand,
Mm.
and then my number 2 is Japan. They're right there though. I just think
Japan
that
would
samurai-
be
Japan has
cool.
Disney, dude.
Japan then.
Japan-
I mean, dude, like the samurai temples and all that
Yeah.
stuff. That history is so sick.
It would be so cool to go to Japan, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be tough, like the language barrier, but like
Yeah.
it'd be cool.
In the forest there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's mine.
Hayden?
So I've got 3 that are like bucket lists. Got to do Chile, Argentina with Easter Island, Iceland, and then Vietnam.
Oh
yeah,
Vietnam would be
Wow.
sick.
My big actually went to Vietnam because his wife
Shout out Sig Up.
was actually was actually born there and then adopted here in the U.S.
Wow.
And so for their honeymoon, they went to Vietnam
That's
for
sick.
like a month.
Wow.
And
crazy.
they said it was awesome because like the dollar is so much more there. So
Yeah.
they just felt like kings and queens. So yeah.
That is
Jack?
sick, though.
I'd say mine is probably Switzerland. Like,
That's
I've
what I was
seen-
gonna say.
I've seen a lot of like videos or pictures. It looks so beautiful over
Swiss
there.
Alps.
And I love mountains, like mountainous areas. So I'd say that's probably my bucket list.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say Switzerland, but
Oh, whatever.
I'll take it back. I'll say Dubai.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be very cool.
You do
too.
seem like you want to go
Yeah.
to Dubai.
bad and bougie. And
Yeah,
Dubai.
wearing
Whoa.
sunglasses, walking, video and everything.
Yeah. Wearing a robe.
Yeah. I gotta get me one of those robes, you know.
Hey.
So, dang. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Is that it for the pod?
I think.
Yeah, I think we can start wrapping
Do
it up.
you have, real quick before we wrap it up? Do you have anything else, like any other cool stories?
No, I think those are the highlights for my trip. Just my advice to anybody listening or watching this podcast is to travel. Is to just get out of your comfort zone and go travel and experience amazing cultures.
All right.
No,
I'm
Sweet.
motivated.
Yeah.
Who's
so,
ready to go to Disney?
Yeah. So yeah,
We
we'll
can go
we'll-
the tours of the different. I mean, that's pretty much the
Disney
same
and
thing.
Japan with
yeah,
me.
we
Let's
got
going.
we got to start out small. We'll start with
I mean,
Disney.
they have like the
and then-
tour of Italy and the tour, like you can experience it
I
at
want to go
Disney.
to while I'm abroad. I want to go to Disney all around the world.
They only have
They
like
have one
four.
in
In France.
I was gonna say Paris, and then I'm like France. Paris, right?
France.
Yeah, they have one in France.
Okay, so there's one.
That
And
would
then-
actually be cool.
Is the other one in China or Japan?
There's one in
Japan.
Japan for sure.
Japan.
Yeah.
Okay,
The new Tron ride just came out.
check me
We're
out.
not, well, let's not
We're
get
getting
in.
a Tron.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, we
All
can
right.
talk about
Thanks,
that
there,
next
guys.
time.
Hey, go like and subscribe and
Hayden, you want to shout out your social?
there you
Yeah, follow me on Instagram at Sir Hurst. I've got all of my travel stuff on there, every place I've visited. A lot of cool photos on there as well.
Yeah, check them
go.
out.
We'll put it on the Wildlife Instagram as well. So
Let's go, guys.
all right.
Peace out.
Let me tell you this. The older you do get, the more rules are gonna try to get you to follow. You just gotta keep living, man. Live.